Hello, and welcome to another Silver Screen Filmmakers Club workshop. We are glad you are joining us today. The information provided to you today is brought to you by the Stage Incubator, along with our sponsor, the Indiana Arts Commission. This is also brought to you in partnership with the Center for Urban and Regional Excellence at Indiana University Northwest and Folk Art, the Volunteers Office for Community Accessibility Resources and Training. All right, well, welcome back. Welcome back, Silver Screen Filmmakers. So, we're going to jump right in to our brainstorming mini lesson, but I wanted to welcome you back. Hopefully, you have finished watching Developing a Concept for a Short Film. Watching that video lesson, that is the first one that you really want to watch before you jump into this film or this video. All right, so module 4 brainstorming mini lesson. This is a mini lesson all about brainstorming. As you know, we talked a little bit, gave a high level overview of brainstorming in that first initial lesson, but we're going to dive a little bit more into so we can show you some examples of what things may look like when you're brainstorming your concept for your short film. Again, formalities are formalities, but my name is Gretchen Sip. Thank you again for joining me. I have a couple years of experience in this and hopefully wants to make sure that you are able to grasp what you need to grasp so that you can create a great short film. So as you see in our week 4 agenda, brainstorming techniques is our second lesson for this module for this week. Now we will be dropping lessons throughout the week, but we want to give you an opportunity to be able to watch and go through and gather your questions as you see fit. All right, so today's lesson is all about brainstorming techniques. We're going to briefly talk about, the introduction to brainstorming techniques, and then we're going to go into mind mapping, free writing, and prompt base. Now, we're just going to mention a little bit about the technique exercise, but we will put out a demonstration video for the technique and what we expect for your exercise for you to be able to complete by the end of the week. So, again, welcome to our session on brainstorming techniques. Now, we're going to cover 3 methods for us to be able to organize and generate ideas, which includes mind mapping, free writing, and prompt-based writing, or prompt-based brainstorming. Now, each of these techniques can help you open up your creativity and develop strong concepts for your short films. It's important to be able to brainstorm so that you can really flesh out and refine your concepts. We know that every great film begins with a what, an idea, a spark, a thought. It begins with that. And that idea, that spark, usually serves to excite, to evoke, to inspire, and get you, excited about the story you're going to tell. Now, again, brainstorming is a fundamental piece because that process helps with refining and structuring the initial concept and hopefully making it a full-fledged short film. So are you ready to jump into the 3 techniques? I think so. Again, the 3 techniques we're going to be discussing: mind mapping, free writing, and prompt base. So let's talk about mind mapping. Now, this technique involves visualizing your ideas and their connections. You'll start with a central idea in the middle of your paper or in the middle of your poster board or the middle of your screen, and from there, branch out with related concepts, characters, settings, and plot points. Now, mind mapping helps you to see the bigger picture and understand how the different elements in your story interrelate. Mind mapping is a visual tool, and we'll talk about what it is in a minute. But we'll also talk about how to do it. It is a really powerful technique, and it really allows you to, when it says gives you that high level overview, gives you that eagle's eye view. That's because it allows you to be able to expand it, so you can look at it from that overhead view and figure out where you need to expand your story, your characters, things of that nature. So it's a visual tool that helps organize and structure your thoughts, allowing you to see the relationships between the ideas. Now, how it usually goes in the middle of the page, we write the main idea or the topic we want to develop. Then you think of related sub ideas or topics and connect them with the line to that main idea or that main topic. And then you repeat step two until refined related sub ideas or topics are actually generated. Here's a sort of separate visual where it shows, we start with the central idea, and then number two, you're going to create branches. That is your characters, that's your plot, that's your settings. You set those branches, and then from those branches, you have sub branches, right? And the sub branches break down items further. The sub branches can break down, your characters more, like what's their weaknesses, what's their strengths, settings, time period, and things of that nature, and key plot points. And then what you can do is use keywords and images, and you can write those keywords or draw small images along those branches to represent each idea. Now, the visual representation helps in recalling and connecting those concepts. Lastly, when you have that drawn out, you begin to sort of see where you need to refine it and where you need to expand it. And you can, hopefully take the time to be able to reorganize the map as you need. So here is my little sample. Let's look at the simple mind map. And if you look here in the center, in that little yellow circle, that's where we have our main topic. And then from there, I have rectangles that are main ideas off of that central main topic. And then from there, off those main ideas, we have ovals of supporting sub ideas. So now let me, show you a little sample of, what I did for just a simple concept. I did a time travel concept. So let's go, and I'm going to show you a simple sample. So time travel, that's my concept, that's my idea. I put that in the middle. Now I have my main ideas from that central idea about character, settings, plot points, and conflicts. Those are my mains. Now, off of those, I have my ovals, which are my sub branches. So look at my characters. My characters, I have antagonists, which is sort of the villain, right? The villain. That's the villain. And dealing with, your characters, you want to sort of flesh these things out. You know, when you are setting up these things, you can, you know, it's not just a person, it could be an inanimate object. But you want to make sure that the character and your hero in your story, so like for this one, the hero in my story is the time traveler. That's my protagonist. And then, say for instance, I have the motivations for him, the strengths, the weaknesses for him. What inspires him to keep moving? What does he look like? What's his demographic? What does he visually appear like? Those are all other branches that can be broken off of the time traveler. Same with plot, same with settings. This is all an example of how you can split up and branch out your ideas. So, the main thing when you do a mind map, you want to use colors and different shapes to differentiate between branches and sub branches to make them, more visually appealing, but also so that easily be able to sort visually. All right, the next one is free writing. So, free writing is an exercise where you write continuously for a set period of time, and you don't worry about grammar, you don't worry about punctuation, you don't even worry about things logically making sense. You really just want the thoughts to get out of your mind and get out of your, spirit. You want the thoughts and the words to come out so that hopefully there's a spark there of a spontaneous idea that just may work. So let's talk about free writing. How to free write. Now, when you get into free writing, there are essentially five different pieces that or five different phases that occur with the actual brainstorming technique of free writing. One is preparation, two is writing, three exploration, four review, and lastly you refine. But what is preparation? That's our first step, right? Preparation is our first step. Preparation is where we choose a starting point for the free writing, such as a word or a phrase, and or even a question. And then we choose that and we're going to set that timer for 10-15 minutes, right? Now, once that timer starts, you begin to write continuously about that chosen point, about that prompt. You begin to write continuously. You don't check for spelling, you don't check for grammar, you don't check for structure. The goal is here to just to write your little heart out and keep writing without stopping. That's the second part. Now, the third part of the process is exploration. You want to allow your thoughts to flow freely and explore different aspects of your film concept. Now, if you get stuck, this is the thing with free writing. You have to repeat the last word or phrase until a new idea comes in mind. So, yes, you're going to have a couple of that last word is, Cadillac. You repeat Cadillac, 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 Cadillac until a new idea comes along or comes to mind. So, that's our exploration. Now we go into review phase. Once that timer goes off, you stop writing and you review what you've written. Now, this is where you first are getting that initial impression of what did I write? What in the world did I write? And this is where you review it. See if it's any themes, if it's any ideas, any characters that emerge. That's where you check that out. And if you see anything, then we go into that refinement portion. And that refinement is where we refine the highlighted ideas and consider how they can be developed further. Now, I want to show you just a brief example of free writing. So, I'm using, a prompt or an idea, just a short phrase to get me started. So, my phrase is imagine a world where everyone has a unique superpower. Imagine a world where everyone has a unique superpower. All right. So in free writing, I came up with the following. Imagine a world where everyone has a unique superpower. Some people can fly, others can read minds, and a few can even manipulate time. In this world, our protagonist, a seemingly ordinary teenager, discovers their power to communicate with animals. This power is initially seen as useless, but when a series of mysterious events threaten the city, it becomes clear that understanding the animals' behaviors hold the key to saving everyone. The teenager must navigate their new abilities, deal with school bullies, and uncover the truth behind the mysterious events. Along the way, they form an unlikely friendship with the talking dog who becomes their sidekick. So, utilizing free writing, just wrote, wrote. And from there, I was able to gather my protagonist, but also my antagonist. My antagonist would be my school bullies. Um, and I even have another character there, my dog. Unlikely friendship, my dog, this talking dog, who becomes a sidekick. So you see how free writing, you start them with this little phrase, question, and you're moving into what it can grow out to be. All right, so we covered mind mapping, we covered free writing. Now let's talk about prompt based. Now the third technique is this prompt based brainstorming. This method uses specific prompts to spark that idea and spark that concept. Prompt based brainstorming uses specific questions or statements, and it can help sort of to focus your thinking and encourage you to explore areas that you may have not considered. So, how do we use a prompt? So, you select a prompt from that is relevant to your short film concept. The prompts can be questions, scenarios, or statements, and they can be provided to you or anything of that nature. And once you get that prompt, you write down your response to the prompt and allow your thoughts to just flow freely while you explore different angles. Now, this sounds a lot like what? Free writing, except that you actually have a prompt that's there to sort of jumpstart you. Now, once you start writing and you get, everything out on paper as best you can, you then want to develop it further and use your response as then a starting point to create more detailed ideas. And you can even combine multiple prompts to create a richer concept, right? So there are different types of prompts. You can have a prompt that is dealing with a character. So who is your protagonist and what is their greatest fear? And that could kick it off. Or you can have a prompt that's dealing with the setting. Describe a unique or unusual location for your film. How does it influence the story? Whether it's whether it's a fallen civilization that has been, swept away at sea for hundreds of years and is now coming to the surface, or a conflict prompt. What unexpected event turns the protagonist's world completely upside down? It could be the death of a parent, it could be an accident that leaves them paralyzed. And then you have a theme prompt. What is the central theme or message of your film? Now, this with theme prompts, I sort of think of those as like the ones that deal with either documentaries, deal with ads, deal with activism videos or films, or because you remember a short film is anything less than 20 minutes, right? So themes can be whether it's child advocacy, whatever it is, domestic abuse, that can also fit in that time period, that example. So let's look at a quick scenario here. So we got three different prompts. One is a secret discovered. Second one is a journey to an unknown land. And lastly, an unlikely friendship. Now, I have unlikely friendship. That's the one I have underlined. That's the one I chose to expound on. So, an unlikely friendship. Idea: a young boy befriends an elderly neighbor who turns out to be a retired spy. Now, my characters for that, of course, is my young boy, and he's curious and adventurous. And then I have my elderly neighbor, who's mysterious and wise. Now, just from that unlikely friendship that I decided, okay, it's going to be a young boy and a neighbor who turns out to be a spy. Now I have a setting where, okay, this is probably the kid riding up and down the street on his bike in a small suburban neighborhood with hidden secrets. Because why would the retired spy, be in this neighborhood? Well, the plot points are that the boy discovers old spy gadgets and he teams up with the neighbor to solve a local mystery. And that's from just a basic prompt. Well, I hope this short lesson gave you some ideas on the different brainstorming techniques that you can use. Of course, you want to be open minded in this approach and without judgment. And sometimes you can even combine this. That's why I said open minded, because you can combine the different methods. You can have mind mapping and use along with free writing, or have prompt based with free writing. So you can do combos, whatever works for you. But you want to make sure that you're just able to get the innovative ideas and be able to flesh out what you have for your film. So to summarize, we got three effective brainstorming techniques. That's mind mapping, free writing, and prompt based. Each of these methods can help generate and organize ideas for your short films. So, let this be the start. Now, this lesson is tied again to the developing your concept for a short film. For this week, your exercise is going to be, we want you to start brainstorming, or the brainstorming process. So, a little bit later, you'll be able to look in Moodle, and we'll have your assignment up there where you will be able to choose between a mind map or another option. But we're looking at just mind mapping so that you can get a handle on that, and it'll be accompanied with a demonstration video. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, feel free at any point to email us, thestageincubator@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to return your email within 24 hours. Thank you again for attending. There are more lessons coming up. So if you want to watch the next video, you can either, wait for the next video to pull up, or click back into your Moodle or YouTube and be able to view those upcoming videos. Thank you for joining. Hope you learned a lot. Well, I hope you learned a lot. Thank you for joining the Stage Incubator and viewing a part of our digital literacy series. We really appreciate you being here, and thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at thestageincubator@gmail.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Again, we want to thank our sponsors and our partners: the Indiana Arts Commission, the Center for Urban and Regional Excellence, and VOCART, the Volunteers Office for Community Accessibility, Resource, and Training. We hope to see you at our next session, and stay tuned for more things to come.